On the outskirts of a small village surrounded by a dense forest stood an old wooden bridge known as the Bridge of Lost Voices. The structure, rickety and covered in moss, spanned a river that seemed to whisper even when the air was still. No one in the village dared cross it at night, as the stories surrounding it were enough to keep even the bravest at bay. The legend told of a group of children who had vanished near the bridge decades ago. They were said to be playing by the riverbank when an eerie silence fell over the area. Searchers found footprints leading to the center of the bridge, but they disappeared as if the children had been swallowed by the air. Since then, villagers reported hearing faint laughter and distant voices while crossing the bridge, especially at night. Mateo, a young skeptic and lover of challenges, arrived at the village on a rainy afternoon. He had heard the legend in a local tavern and, determined to prove it was nothing more than an exaggerated tale, announced he would cross the bridge at midnight. The village elders tried to dissuade him, warning that no one who had crossed it at night had ever been the same. But Mateo laughed, convinced that collective fear had fueled a baseless myth. At precisely midnight, armed with a flashlight and his phone, Mateo arrived at the bridge. The night was unusually quiet, save for the constant murmur of the river. As he took his first step onto the creaking planks, a chilling breeze swept down his spine. He brushed it off and kept walking, recording a video to document his feat. Midway across the bridge, the whispers grew louder. They were voices, but the words were indistinct. Suddenly, his flashlight flickered and went out, plunging him into total darkness. He switched to his phone's light, but what it illuminated froze him in place. Ahead of him, the bridge seemed to stretch endlessly, far beyond what should have been its length. Turning around, he saw with horror that the entrance had vanished. It was then that the voices became clear. Laughter, mixed with crying and whispers, surrounded him. A cold chill ran through him when a soft, barely audible voice called his name. Mateo! He spun around, but no one was there. He tried to run, but the bridge seemed to grow longer with every step. The voices turned to screams, and amid the chaos, he could make out words. Help us. We don't want to stay here. Mateo stumbled and fell to his knees. As he looked up, he saw small, blurry figures surrounding him. They were children, with empty eyes and sorrowful expressions. One of them reached out a hand toward him, but before he could react, everything went silent. When Mateo woke up, he was lying on the riverbank exactly where he had started. His phone and flashlight were destroyed, and he had no memory of how he had escaped. Returning to the village, no one believed his story, but something in his eyes had changed. He never spoke of the bridge again and left the village shortly afterward. However, the villagers noticed something unsettling. On quiet nights, when the wind blew softly, a new voice could be heard among the others. It was the voice of a young man, calling out to someone who never answered.